We start our journey to the southwest of India, in the Nilgiris Mountains, called the Blue Mountains. They cover more than 2,000 square miles and constitute one of the planet's richest biospheres. Every year, in these mountains, traditional hunter-gatherers wait for the arrival of the migrating bee, the Apis dorsata, the giant bee. It builds its nest under cliff overhangs and in the treetops. Two men, Chinnasamy and Jadayan, have united their tribes to harvest the precious honey. Their self-imposed mission is to train their sons and nephews to ensure the survival of their families and to guarantee that this age-old tradition doesn't disappear. It's April. The honey season has just begun. On the heights of his village, Jadayan from the Urila tribe is preparing to join his friend Chinnasamy 20 kilometers away.
Honey is my main source of income. Thanks to honey, I will be able to live, eat, and take care of my goats.
Jadayan's little hamlet is made up of his family's houses. His sisters and nephews are the closest neighbors, and they all depend on the revenue from the honey harvest. Around the dwellings, the Apis dorsata, the giant bees, have just arrived.
For 4 months, starting in April, we find honey that comes from 4 flowers. The majority of the honey comes from the naga flower, then the koli flower, the biscotti flower, and finally the anike flower.
It's in the Blue Mountains during this season, 4 months before the monsoons, that the bees find the flowers they forage. Then, when the flower's nectar becomes scarce, they migrate to more favorable places, up to 125 miles away.
Hey Shiva, Raja, are you coming? Bring the tools to cut the vines.
Before leaving the hamlet, Jadayan, his nephew Shiva, and his son Raja collect bark and vines in the forest. They will be used to manufacture and consolidate the equipment used for the honey collecting.
Stop. There must be vines here.
Jadayan shows them where and how to find the best vines.
Cut that one.
Yes, Dad.
Cut it and then pull on it. The vine will eventually give. Cut it. That's good. It's a good vine. We find everything we want in this forest during honey season. There's honey and vines. We find all this in our forests. We don't have to worry about that. Now we're preparing the vines. We must finish this job. First, I have to remove the bark. Every bit of it.
These fibers will be used to hold the ropes and ladders used to access the trees and cliffs. Jadayan reveals some of the forest's secrets to his son and nephew.
When we don't find water in the forest, we use this vine. Only the elders know this. We cut the bottom of the vine and place it in a container that fills up with water. These vines bring us many benefits. They can save our lives. We're leaving. Take your medicine. I'm going to collect the honey, and on the way back, I'll take care of the rest. Take good care of the house. Take care of the goats. Can we go?
Yes, Dad, we can go.
Be careful.
We will, Mother. Goodbye. We're going.
Goodbye. The three men will go to the village of Chinnasamy, the second honey hunter, on the other side of the mountain. On the way, Jadayan, his son, and his nephew have to make a puja, a prayer to the deities of the forest who will protect them during their journey. To reach the village, the three men cross a very dense, high-altitude forest, the shola. In this part of India, hunter-gatherers are not respected, although they're in direct connection with nature and the only ones to enter the forest. Still, they are poorly accepted by the region's other inhabitants. This rejection and the dangers of their practice explain the gradual abandonment of this ancestral collection. The tribes of this part of India do not usually mix with each other, but Jadayan from the Yarula tribe associated with a man from the Kurumba tribe to safeguard this tradition of hunting honey.
Only pick the buds.
That's what I'm doing. Like many sedentary hunter-gatherers, Chinnasamy and his wife live part of the year harvesting tea leaves. Every honey season, he welcomes Jadayan to go out with their sons to track the bees in the Blue Mountains.
Hello.
Hello, Brother Jadayan.
What are you up to? All is well?
We're very well. What a nice surprise to see you. I'm glad to see you.
We haven't seen each other yet this year. That's why I'm here. And there's the honey harvest. It's time to get started.
It's good that you came. We're going to need some vines.
I brought some, look, biscotti vines.
They're hard to find.
Yes, it's difficult.
Nanjudan,
Hey, Nanjandan, come on.
what are you doing?
You've gone up the tree?
Come on, Jadayana's here.
Come see me. Come on down.
So Nanjudan, how are you?
Hi, Raja. What's up?
You're always cutting things.
You good?
Everything's fine. Looks like you're busy.
Yes, I am.
Look who's here.
So how's everyone?
Just like back in Jadayan's hamlet, the Apis Dorsata are arriving around Chinasami's house. These bees are over 3/4 of an inch long, almost double that of most other species.
Gently, gently.
The men's first job to do is repair the 30-meter-long ladder used by the honey hunters for over 10 years. It will be placed on the cliff to access the swarms hanging on the rock wall. After unrolling it, it is inspected and reinforced. It's Chinasami who takes all the risks. He'll be climbing down the cliff, hanging onto the ladder. His life depends on the good condition of this assemblage of ropes and vines.
Jadayan work as a team. He's from the Irula tribe, and I'm from the Kurumba tribe. We get along well. I trust him. And I'm not afraid to go down the cliff when he's there. We always come back safe and sound. There's no danger. With the rope, there's no problem either.
What I've learned from my father by going with him is how to harvest the honey and how to smoke the bees. I learned all that with him. We show the boys how to braid the vines. They learn by watching us. This will be useful for the next generation. When we're gone, they'll remember that their fathers and grandfathers did this, and they'll perpetuate the tradition. Children are the inheritors of our knowledge, and together we form a team.
After a night of rest, the little group leaves the village.
We Kurumba believe that there's a goddess called Katrayana in the forest. If we ask her to remove dangers like elephants and bears, we just have to say, "Go away, we're coming." Then the animals move out of our way, and we can go on safely. If we make a puja during our journey, then we're protected. That's our belief.
For the Kurumba and the Yarula, the goddess Katrayana is the embodiment of nature itself. She is present everywhere. The stones that are decorated, flowered, and surrounded by food symbolize the deity. Jadayan guides one of the young men to reproduce the same gestures his father and grandfather did before him.
For example, we make coffee and offer her coffee. We make a meal and offer her a little part of our meal. We perpetuate what our ancestors did.
At the end of the ritual, members of the two tribes take the mark of the tilak to bring good luck. Then they purify themselves. At the edge of the river, the small group shares a meal before going in search of the bees.
Everything's done by us men here. There's no work for women. Women don't come now, but they did a long time ago. For honey, husband and wife would come together. They would search, eat, sleep on location. They even brought their babies. But that was way back in our grandparents' time.
The older generations lived in the forest. Today, sedentism has turned honey hunting into a means of economic survival, to which only men participate. Before leaving, some of the group will make smokers, an assembly of branches and green leaves that while burning will release a thick smoke which protects the hunters from bee stings. The group of men resume their journey through the forest. Chinasami, staring up and listening attentively, is searching for the bees. Suddenly, he spots a tree where a swarm of Dorsata bees has congregated. The first honey harvest is about to begin. Chinasami climbs up to over 65 feet in height, unprotected. He is followed by Shiva, Jadayan's nephew, who struggles to catch up with his elder. It's all done silently to defend the swarm. The bees can attack the hunters at any time. The colonies of the Apis Dorsata have the particularity of building a single vertical structure, covered by a dense mass of bees in several layers.
He's poking the hive up there. He cuts the hive full of honey so that the honey flows down.
Only the cells at the top of the hive are filled with honey. Chinasami must work very quickly before the bees come back.
Gently, gently. When we came here in the past and made smoke, we saw a lot of bees around us. It was like that at the time. There was honey everywhere. Now we don't know why there is so little honey. Maybe it's because of the flowers. We did not have rain this year.
Before heading back, Jadayan thanks the forest and the bees for their donation. The little group is back on the move, tracking the bees to the cliffs of the Blue Mountains. Jadayan and Chimasami know that each year, the Apis Dorsata make their most beautiful hives there, some of which can grow to over 1 meter in radius. It's in an old abandoned house at the foot of the cliff that Jadayan and Chinasami set up their camp. All they need to do now is build the container that will be used to collect the honey. Assembled from long branches, bark ends, and a metal box, this basket must balance along the cliff. It's been made this way for decades. Nanjundan, still perched above, is responsible for checking the balance of the construction.
Listen to me well. Instead of saying, I don't like that or I'm afraid, you have to start climbing down small cliffs. Yes, you should practice on small rocks. Yes, little rocks, and increase the difficulty little by little. That way you'll get used to it. When was your first honey harvest together?
It's been almost 20 years, maybe more than 20 years. Experience does not come by itself. Locating the hives and climbing. For you young people to do all this, you must practice. It's not enough that we know how to do it. Our abilities are decreasing. Sure, we can accompany you for 2 or 3 more years, but I can't do difficult things. That's why you young people must train yourselves.
It's up to him to learn. He's the next successor. He represents the next generation. He has to learn all this.
The meeting between honey hunters and bees takes place in the early morning hours. After attaching the ladder along the wall, Jadayan lights the fire that will burn during the entire harvest, fueled by green leaves, fanned by his son Raja.
I was 12 when I first went into the forest with my uncle.
Chinnasamy descends from the top of the cliff on the rope ladder, without being attached, without any protection.
I wanted to try to see what it was like. Little by little, I climbed down the rock. The fear disappeared when I was 15 years old. The more I climbed down, the more courage I got.
Go on!
When I pray to the gods, I say, protect me, protect my legs, help me return safely with the honey. It's our belief. Even if our gods don't provide much honey, our gods protect us and allow us to return home. The goddess is with us. She's giving us this honey.
Chinnasamy cuts the lower part of the hive before harvesting the upper part, where the honey is.
Send some more smoke here.
Chinnasamy passes from one hive to the next, leaving the smaller ones with less honey alone. They'll be harvested in a few weeks. The harvest takes 2 hours. The honey will be cleaned and shared back at Chimasamy's house.
It's true that some people raise bees in boxes. Those who don't go into the forest buy boxes and breed bees. We don't raise bees like that. If we began raising bees in boxes, we'd lose our tradition.
These traditions continue in the Nilgiri Mountains, thanks to Jadayan and Chinnasamy, the last guardians of a way of life in danger.
The honey is good. It's bitter and sweet.
In a few seasons, after acquiring their elders' experience, their children will begin tracking the migratory bees, preserving the know-how of the hunters of Blue Mountains honey.